Hello and welcome to this video. As you can see down here on the bench, I have a Hamilton Jazzmaster, I think this model is called, which I got from an online auction. It was advertised with some nice clear photographs and with the wording of not running. Now you can see this watch is very clearly heavily influenced by the Rolex Chronograph Daytona with its ceramic tachymeter bezel, 369 subdial layout, the indices, the hands, etc. And but it's different enough. It definitely falls into the homage category rather than a copy, and I thought it was quite nice. And I like Hamiltons. I have a Hamilton X Patrol which uses a Valjoux 7750 movement with the 6912 subdial layout. It's a superb watch. I bought that years ago with the intention of giving it a service, a clean up and selling it, and when it arrived I decided I really liked it and I kept that one and I wear that one a lot. I saw this in the auction, and because I like the Daytona anyway, and obviously because of that I like the style of this, I decided I would throw in a bid. It was advertised as not running. It is in generally good condition. It's got what looks to be the full length bracelet, which has a butterfly clasp, and as you can see the oscillating weight is rotating. The balance is not spinning. However, what I did notice on the auction listing picture of the case back, because it's an exhibition case back, I saw on the photograph there was what appeared to be a movement casing clamp floating around loose inside the case back, which means there's probably a movement casing screw floating around loose in the case back. And if that's the case, and if that is all the problem is, then I will be absolutely delighted. I don't know yet if that is all the problem is, but because this is based on an ETA 7753, I should be able to get most of the parts that I need for this to perform a service on it. So with that in mind, we're going to remove the bracelet, remove the case back, and have a fish around inside and see what we can see. Before we go any further, I've just removed the bracelet, but I want to do a comparison. I'm actually going to put that there just to kind of show you bracelet thickness comparison as well, which is much chunkier. And I want to do a comparison with the watch it's inspired by, or a copy of the watch that it's inspired by. This down here is my Suggess Daytona alike, and this is as close a copy to a Daytona as you can get. The movement in the Suggess is an automatic chronograph and is based on the 4130. So you can see there is a distinct physical size difference. The Hamilton is much bigger and also is much thicker. So I'll do that and focus on that. And you can see it's also much thicker and a different case profile as well. So yes, a big difference between the two physically when you look at them side by side, although you can see where the inspiration for the design of this one has come from. The good news is that there is most definitely a casing clamp screw floating around in the movement, because there is the casing clamp. There's where it belongs, in that way cut out there. And as you can see, there's one on the other side, which means the casing clamp screw is loose and somewhere in the movement. So what I'm hoping is that we can jog that loose, get it out of here, and the movement will just start up. So I'm going to have a dig and a poke around and see if I can see anything and make anything come loose without having to unnecessarily remove the chrono bridge and such, which I can do if I have to, but hopefully I'll be able to just kind of find it, jog it loose, and we can get things running. I'll be back shortly. This is where I get a little bit excited and hopeful, because right down here, I don't know if you can see it just now, but I can see the screw. Basically what I've done here is I've taken off the balance. Very interesting balance, by the way. It's free sprung, doesn't use a conventional regulator. It actually has 4 posts, and it has these little adjuster screws on the arms. So that's an interesting one. Very nice. I took the balance off, and I had a little poke and a prod about, and I just sort of very gently worked the train of wheels backwards, because what tends to happen when a screw drops into a movement is it drops into the movement, and the movement is running in its typical direction, and it drags, if it falls onto one of the wheels, it drags that screw into the movement. So just down here, which I'll zoom in so you can see it before I pluck it out, and right there you can see it's sitting on the escape wheel. So I'm just going to carefully pluck this out of here, and hopefully things will start running. So I don't know if you could see that, but let me just get an oiler, so try and demonstrate that a bit clearer for you. That's looking promising. I will say I was quite prepared to take this out, strip it and service it, and depending on how it runs, I might well still potentially do that anyway. I'm going to give that a little bit of wind, because I don't know how much wind is on there just now. I'm quite prepared to do that anyway if I have to. However, I'm a little miffed to discover that it appears to be a front-loading movement. And these are always a little bit of a nuisance, because you've got to pop the bezel crystal out, everything else, you know. And if you look at this, the shape of the case, let me just focus on that for you. So you can see with the shape of the case and the way that it curves inwards. What I'm going to do first is pop the balance back on, and we're going to see if it rewards us with a heartbeat. Let's see what happens. I'll carefully wiggle this in here. This of course is not the easiest. If the movement is cased, and boom, there we go. Colour me delighted. So that was a broken, not running Hamilton chronograph, which I took a chance on the auction, with the premise that it's ultimately based on Valjoux 7753. I'd better put the balance screw back in before I wind that up too much. Not that it should go anywhere, but hey ho. Based on the principle of it's largely built around a 7753 movement, I knew that I should be able to get most of the bits and pieces required to work on it should I need to do so, but I am absolutely delighted to see that that is beating away nicely. I think I just need to relocate the jumper spring now, because that seems to have been pushed out of the way, and that was probably me when I was removing and refitting the balance. So there we go. I'm going to give this a good wind. I'm going to pop the oscillating weight back on. I'm going to put the other casing clamp back on. I'm going to re-grease the seal, and then I am going to put this on the time grapher and see what it tells us. That was odd. I'm not sure what that was about. It's had a problem picking up the trace there for a second. Apologies for this next bit of footage. The time grapher footage was corrupted. I filmed that with my phone, and something must have happened in the transfer to the card from my phone memory and then from the card to the PC. But the long and short was it was given a good, decent, clean trace all round with 270, 280 dial up, dial down. I've just lubricated the sealing ring and just double checked all the screws are tight and what have you. And just before I put the case back on, I was giving the inside of it a bit of a clean, and notice this. This annoys the hell out of me. In this day and age, there is no need to be scoring in names, initials and numbers and goodness knows what else into the metal of a case or of a movement plate or literally anything. There's no need to be doing that nowadays. And on top of that, not only has somebody had this open before and scratched this into it, they've scratched it into the actual mating surface where it meets the gasket, where it seals, where it provides a waterproof seal. So here you've got the etched or engraved factory stuff on the innards. So it wouldn't have been quite so bad if it had been engraved around here, because this is the inner ring. But right there, seriously, look at that. That is infuriating, and there is absolutely no call for that whatsoever in this day and age. And this model, I know, is not that old of a model. The Jazzmaster Chronograph is not a particularly old chronograph model. No call for it. Infuriating. And here we are with the watch resized and on the wrist, and it's quite a nice bracelet. I'm usually not an enormous fan of butterfly clasps. I find them a little bit fiddly to fasten, but they're great for the unfastening and quickly taking off. They're just a little bit more fiddly. Whoops, like so. Just a little bit more fiddly to sort of wiggle around and fasten initially. But that's nice. It's a nice comfortable bracelet, really good solid thick stainless steel, and that will now replace my Steel Dive Willard, which has been my wrist companion so far this week. So we'll see how that runs, and hopefully it will behave itself.